Hello and welcome back to the channel. Not actually another day of triathlon training. This video isn't going to have any sort of training in it at all. This is purely about race day execution. However, I am in the middle of filming a weekend longs. So basically this weekend is going to probably be my biggest weekend of training that I've ever done. I am documenting all of that, which will probably be out in the next week or so, maybe 4 days. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that, because like I say, it is a big weekend of training and it is like the kind of peak of my training, ready to taper down into my first triathlon, which is why we're here today. Today I basically wanted to run through sort of my race day execution plan, how I'm hoping the race will go, if it all goes well, sort of my expectations, my aims, and what I'm going to be specifically using on race day. So I suppose it makes sense to start with the swim. If you haven't watched my previous video, I went and did a bit of a course recce of the bike and also took a look at the swim and where I'll be swimming. It did make me a little bit nervous. It's a little bit more tidal and the current seemed quite strong, although it was quite a windy day, so I don't know if that made a difference, but nevertheless, gonna have to do it. So this is triathlon, it's called the Big East Triathlon. It's in Bradwell-on-Sea. The course itself is quite friendly, I suppose, and beginner friendly. The run and bike are both quite flat. However, the swim is a little bit more tough. So they've shortened the swim down from a middle distance swim, which would have been 1,900 meters, down to 1,600 meters. So it's about a mile long. So with that being said, first things first, goggles. These are just a set of Speedo goggles. I've been using these for years and years and years. And they've served me well. They fit my head well. I haven't had any issues with them, so no point in changing them. So they're the goggles. Obviously swim cap I'll be getting on the day when I pick up my race pack. Then the next thing, which I will definitely be using because it is going to be cold, is a wetsuit. Now, for any of you swimmers out there, you probably don't recognise, or maybe don't recognise, the brand Sea Skins. Basically, I'm hoping to get a new wetsuit at some point. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you know that a lot of my stuff is on a bit of a budget at the moment. So this is just this is definitely not going to be the best for swimming. I have done open water swims in this. I think I've done an open water 5K in this, and it does the job and gets me through it. Wetsuits are expensive. I can't afford one right now. Triathlon's expensive, as we all know. I had a wetsuit. I know I can swim in it. It's one that I use for surfing. I surf quite a lot. It's a 3.2 mil, so it should do the job fine. So I think the part where I'll lose more time is probably going to be the transition, getting this on and off, because the ankles, they're not like your typical swim ones where they don't go right down. These kind of go right down. So that's probably going to be the biggest thing that I'll lose time with on that, but that's absolutely fine. Like I say, this is just a bit of a practice run for my full distance triathlon anyway, so yeah, that should be absolutely fine. That's the equipment I'll be using for the swim. About 15 minutes before the swim, I'm going to be having one gel. This is Science and Sport gels. I get them from Tesco. I know that they work, and I've used these for marathons and stuff, or a marathon before. Along with one of these, for any of you, another link in the up there. This is Precision Hydration. Very good company. I've been testing these in my training sessions, and they're honestly, no word of a lie, they're night and day difference, especially on the longer stuff. That I can't tell you how much of a difference they make. So I'll be sipping on one of these. This is 1,000 milligrams of sodium, so it's quite a strong sort of salt ratio, I suppose, sodium ratio. I'll be putting that into about 500 ml of water and having one of them, sipping on that the morning of race day. And then coming out of the swim, one more gel. So as soon as I get onto the bike during transition, I'll have another gel. That's just kind of topped me up from whatever I've lost from the swim. I'll be taking with me 4 more gels on the bike. I'm hoping the bike leg will take me around 2.5 hours if all goes well. And then also, along with the 4 gels, I will be having 4 more of these sachets. So I'll be having these in these 2 bottles. So these are both 750ml bottles, so that's about 1.5 liters of water across the whole bike leg, which I think is going to be plenty for me. The event isn't going to be too hot, it's not boiling, it's probably 15 degrees maybe. So that should be plenty to get me through on the bike. Equipment for the bike, which I will talk about. I've got my triathlon shoes, Physique Trans Zero shoes. Really like them. I'll be using them on race day. I will, in transition, you might see a lot of professionals or competitive competitive triathletes go without socks on their bike leg. Yeah, not for me. I'm going to be taking some socks, so I'll definitely be putting them on in transition. I want to be competitive, I suppose, during the race, but only competitive with myself. I'm not too fussed about being competitive with other people. I just want to make sure that I put out a good time for me. So I will definitely be stopping and putting them on. One thing I am actually missing is a triathlon suit, or a tri suit. That is hopefully coming. It's something that me and Harry have been speaking about, but I'm hopefully, if all goes well, I'm going to be getting a T3 triathlon suit, which will be really cool because their suits look insane and yeah, like top-notch suits. I'll link Harry's Instagram and his channel below so you can see. He's got plenty of photos and stuff, I'm sure, and videos of him wearing his. Obviously, this is my bike. Again, another link up here. I have done a bit of a bike build video. There's been a few modifications that I've done which I'll quickly run through just for race day. Obviously, 1 water bottle in there, 1 in the back, which should take me through. I've got my bento box up there, which I'll stick my 4 gels in, if I can get them in. It's only quite a small one. This bento box is obviously made for a system with a stem that comes up, so then it makes it more like aero friendly. I don't have one of them stems, as you can see. I've kind of got it's like an integrated type one, so it leaves a big flat mark in here, as you can see. So I'm trying to think of a way that I can kind of adjust that and make it a little bit more aero, or cover it slightly, or whatever. So if you do have any suggestions of how I could do that, make sure you let me know in the comments, and hopefully I can get that sorted for race day, because I can imagine that is not very aero in the slightest. Second thing I want to talk about on the bike is latex V's butyl tubes. Are they worth it? Should I get them? If you think yes, please let me know in the comments below. Give me your reasons, and I'll potentially invest in doing them, because it's something I've been looking into and I am pretty keen to try out. So if you do have any experience with them and any recommendations, then let me know in the comments, because that'd be super useful. And then last thing for the bike, obviously got aero helmet, which I will be using on the bike. Nice white one. So that's swim equipment and nutrition done, bike equipment and nutrition done, which leaves one more sport, which obviously I can't forget, which is the run. So for the run, my plan is come off the bike in T2, got my barefoot running shoes. Again, I'm going to stick one more, probably the last link, up in the wherever in the cards, about my experience in running in Vivo barefoot shoes and why I do it, which you can watch if you so wish. So obviously I'll be sticking them on. I'll already have socks on, so I won't need to put any socks on for the run. I've forgotten something. Give me 2 secs. Knew there's something I'm forgetting. Race belt. This is a Zone 3 race belt, bought off Wiggle. My other half, Autumn, she got it for me for Valentine's Day, which is a pretty cool present actually, especially for Valentine's Day. So I'll be using that, which I'll have to clip on. And inside that, it's got a little zip pocket, which I will be putting 1 gel into for the run course. I actually need to have a better look into what's going to be supplied at the aid stations, because depending on what's being supplied, I might actually put 2 gels in there. just to be sure, make sure that I've got something with me. And then I will be having one more gel in T2 itself before I set out on the run. So I don't know how many gels it adds up to. That'll be one before the race, one in T1, 4 on the bike, one in T2, one on potentially 2 on the, I don't know, a lot of gels. But I'm hoping, I don't know if that's too many gels. Again, if you've got any suggestions, this is my first triathlon. I'm bound to make some sort of mistake. This might sound silly, but I've kind of tried to gauge it to the best of my knowledge as to what I might need. But again, if you do have any recommendations on anything that I've said, any top tips that you might have for triathlons, please let me know in the comments, because I want to make as least mistakes as possible, make it go as smoothly as possible with any luck. And then the final thing, which I've been dying to get my hands on, is some contact lenses. Obviously I've got my glasses on at the moment, but I finally got some contact lenses a little bit later than I probably should have, but I've got some. They feel comfy in my eyes. I've tested them for swim, bike and run, and it is the world of difference. I don't have to wear glasses and try and wear a helmet and look ridiculous in it, and yeah, it makes a big difference. And obviously when I get out of the pool and when I get out of the swim, the open water swim, I'm going to be able to see where I'm going and not go collect someone else's bike or do something stupid. I just hope that I don't get knocked out or I knock them out, because that would be rubbish. I suppose the last thing that I'll talk about is predicted times for each event, or what I'm hoping to get. So I'll give you like a best case scenario, most likely, and like a worst case scenario for each, I suppose, and that way it gives you a good gauge as to where I am. Swim in the pool, I'm doing around 30 to 32 minutes for a mile. It'll probably be a bit quicker in open water because obviously wetsuit, bit of drafting, and yeah, and obviously not having to turn at each corner because I don't do flip turns or tumble turns or whatever you want to call them. So best case scenario would be under 30 minutes. That would be amazing. Most likely is probably 30 to 35 minutes, and then worst case will be anything above that. Bike, if all goes well, I would love to go under 2.5 hours. I think that is well within my capabilities. Obviously dependent on the day, dependent on wind, dependent on rain, dependent on loads of different factors, but I think it is, you know, I've done some training rides where I'm averaging about 23 miles per hour, and that's with a lot of junctions, a lot of stopping and starting, a lot of roundabouts and things like that. So if the bike course seems like it's going to be quite long straights, on the long straights I'm more towards the 24-25 mile per hour mark, which I'd love to be able to, you know, average sort of that pace for the whole time, but obviously there's going to be junctions and stuff like that as well. So anything under 2.5 hours I would be super happy with. Maybe the 2:30 to 40 is going to be quite likely. Let's go with that. Again, I have to say, this is my first triathlon. This is the first time I've strung all this together. I'm really clueless. This is kind of me going, yep, it's a real finger in the air guess. And then anything maybe over 2:40, 2:45 will be hopefully, not hopefully, will probably be worst case scenario. And then that leaves the run. My personal best for a half marathon, bear in mind this was over a year ago with no training, no specific training. I basically had just been doing a silly amount of zone 2 work, and that was it. No fast paced stuff, building up for a marathon, which I did in 3.5 hours. Again, that was with no speed work, and then straight off the back of that I ran a half marathon and went to go fast and did a 1:32. I haven't done an all out, I haven't even done like an all out really 10k or half marathon since then, so I don't really know where my fitness is at of running. My running feels good, it feels better than it did back then. My numbers are showing that it's better than it did back then, but obviously that was with no bike leg behind it. So I'm going to say best case, and what I would really love to hit, would be under an hour and a half. I think that would be a pretty good goal for me. We'll say most likely is 1:30 to 1:40, and then anything above that I think I'd probably be pretty disappointed with. But again, that is all of this is dependent on so many different things, whether my nutrition's going to be right, whether the race day conditions are going to be right, whether loads of different things, but I've probably rambled on for far too long. This video has been a very speaking heavy video, I know that. But yeah, that's race day goals, race day predictions, how I'm going to hopefully execute it, what I'm going to be using to hopefully execute it, and I hope you enjoyed. And like I say, please, any tips that you have, let me know in the comment section below, because I really could do with them. And some luck, if you fancy wishing me some luck, because I'm probably going to need that as well. Last thing is, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm on about 375 right now. It would be amazing if we could get there. So if you're not subscribed, I think I checked my analytics and about 85% of you aren't subscribed that watch my videos. So if you're not subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button. It means a lot to me. It helps the channel grow. But yeah, like the video, comment any questions you have down below, and subscribe to the channel, and I shall see you next time for some more triathlon related content. Actually, I'll see you for my full weekend of triathlon training. Big one. Make sure you subscribe and watch that when it comes out. Peace.